live training. So pretty excited to have this large audience, immense participation. I'm seeing a lot of hard work. I'm sure this structure will pay out well for all of us. There are a lot of questions in terms of the relevance of the course and so on. Just a quick recap, team. As a prerequisite, I do not expect anything. Simple MS Office or how to work with a Excel sheet. A little bit about HTML will help. Whatever else is needed, we will learn. And one of the core important things is this is a step towards automation testing. So whatever we're going to cover as part of this 7-day program will enable you rightly in the direction for automation testing. So if you're someone who's already working in software testing and looking for automation, consider these sessions to be very preliminary, beginner level, but very, very conceptual. And you will really be amazed into, oh, wow, there's so much details into such aspects of testing. All right. Now, yes, we will get into the advanced Selenium batch right after this, and I'll guide you with it. If we have enough participants at this time, I would love to continue in the morning as well. So we can take a collective decision at that time, team. Now, what did we do primarily in our day one? Now, a lot of you are asking about how do we go about doing project work, access to the Google Drive and so on. We just beginning day 2 team. A lot of clarity will come to you through the email that I'll send at the end of today's session. All right. But there's a FAQ document which very nicely all members are, kind of writing questions and pointing them there. So I'm going to read some updated questions. I'm sure. Uh, See, for example, when are we doing the live project? We'll discuss after the day 3. Okay, so you have to, how you work, what you do in the live project, we will talk a lot about it at the end of day 3 too. How is the JPAC training scheduled? Is there, I think we spoke about it. Like I said, it is all scheduled based on, let's go with the initial manual testing, do a little bit of practice project, and then get into advanced Selenium. All right. What else do I have? Does ITLN have specific templates for test plane test cases? Again, for project work, once it comes to a team, you will notice that we have to use a lot of them, not just a few templates and so on. Especially the number of scripts that we need to reuse, okay, the tools and the applications that we have to interface. There's so many open source tools, there's so many paid versions, paid platforms with trial versions in them. So we have to explore them. So live project is going to be phenomenally interesting. All that we will learn theoretically, you will try and put them together in a very, very practical team atmosphere. I mean, the first session, do I need to register again? So this training is different, live project is different. As long as you're getting our emails, you're good. You'll be guided. How does the payment for live project happen? Do we need to have a PayPal account or something? So team, PayPal, regarding payments, let's take it offline and discuss with the team, but everything is on the website. You can go to itlearn.com, just visit the pricing page on it. So let's say you're a guest and you go into a pricing page. All the courses that you're interested in and what is accessible to you is out here. All right. So I'm sure that one of these will fit you, team. CSDT is all focused on Selenium. JPAC is like an all-in-one program together. This kind of is a very easy structured payment plan that you have. So look at the pricing page. It'll give you a good set of idea. Pricing page. Let's put this IT Learn quick links, I'll say. Okay. Pavan, if you're there, we need to add more of these. So it's easy for everyone. And team, while you'll see that I'm going a little patiently in addressing questions and answering them, very soon you have to get little independent and we will start doing very heavy spoon feeding. We will get there, team. But yes, to get started, it'll take you 3-4 sessions at least. So I'm going to guide you through it. Is it mandatory to do the live project? See, here's how it is. Live project, from my perspective, is the most successful thing that we have ever produced as part of Verkasa. The ability of people to transform from a training room that I've seen thousands of them into a project environment and how they work has been revolutionary. So when I've seen resumes and I've been interviewed people, I was not satisfactory. I was not satisfied with how they were presenting. But when it came to project, they did a lot, team. I've seen this. So I will expose you towards those steps as we go along. Meanwhile, if there are specific questions that are important, then please do um, put them in here, team. Okay. So ensure that we have all the questions answered. We're all on the same track. Okay. There's one comment that the HTML videos are good on IT-Learn. You should watch them. I made some very simple to learn HTML videos. If you go to IT-Learn online courses, you will find them where it should be right here somewhere. There, see web basics HTML. And there's MS Office basics videos also. It's a nice, easy to watch kind of videos. So you just have to kind of keep playing them. The 7 videos for non-members, at least a few of them will be free. 2 of them are free out of the 3 videos. Yeah, I think a lot of them are free, team. Just expose them to yourself. Here are the web basics. I'm going to put this too. With that link, it's easy for us to understand. So I'm not putting anything else. Also look at MS Office basics, team. All right. Okay, great. Let's go back to the questions quickly and then to the subject. All right, team. Where were we? We were here. Something to do with. Okay, here's a question. For the live project, after we formed into teams, do we have a team leader? I think this we spoke about yesterday. So we can self-nominate and show interest to the team, that to the other team members, that yes, I would love to take the charge, and then do a round robin if needed. Someone else wants to, and so on. Do that. Encourage that. Please provide the link for Google. Not yet. I cannot, because I don't want to get that messed. It's only individual documents I'm giving you access to them. Will we be getting the notepad copy as well? Nothing in notepad? Okay, G Drive. I think a lot of these questions we answered yesterday too. I'm not going to go through them. Do we get an email with the details about today's training? No. Yeah, I've answered this. Do we have any homework? Yes. Let's talk a little bit more and more about this as we go along. Is okay. Jetpack is all inclusive. I think everything is answered here, team. If there's anything new, let me know. Is the personal G Drive link correct? Huh. So that's your personal G Drive link, but the link to our folder will be a little different. So primarily, when you get this folder, team, what you have to do is say add to drive, add to my drive. And then when you go to my drive in Google, you'll be able to see that folder aligned to you. Okay. I'll show you once. Team, and these are the things you have to get used to. People work with more complicated things, just not Google Drive. These are very user friendly. They expect you to learn on yourself, a lot of them. So I will guide you where the link is, and then you'll get going from there. Okay. Why are people asking me for video sessions? Where are the videos, Pavan, for the JPact 8? Are you there in the session?
Yes, Karthik, we have already uploaded in the YouTube, also in webinar page. So
In the webinars page. Okay.
yeah,
I think we should upload it in AnyAUT, or other places wherever we're doing, so that the team is able to access it. So I'm in the webinars page.
yeah, this video also is in AnyAUT only, the top video.
The top one, that's only
Yes,
one, right?
yes.
But then,
It's a playlist. We can see 2 videos in that.
correct, you're right, Pavan. I'm not saying no. The this orientation and day one are there, right? So we'll
Yes,
start
yes.
putting them in a web page, please, like any other course. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Let's start doing that, like our online courses. Put it under any certified tested train is there now.
Yes,
Let's
yes.
see what is the link to this. This could be the old ones in here, so we should put it in here. Okay, there's some
Okay,
of these fast track 1, fast track 2, old ones there. Let's put the new ones here.
okay, Karthik, sure.
All right, So what's there in this? Let's see. Yep, this is last year's team. All right, so link to this I think will be here. AnyAUT certified tester. I'll put it in this day one link. Link to ACT videos. I'm calling it as ACT team, whatever we're doing as a program. So that is where we are. All right, so it'll come here. How do I answer this? No, will show today. Right. All right, team, let's get started with the core session then. What we were doing yesterday, what is it that we were doing? Primarily, we went through housekeeping. We looked at a few of the things. Very important, team, for you to keep looking at these things. How we kind of collaborate as a group for some amazing learning. And I believe that, certain concepts like team notes or your specific notes, how you interact, they become very, very helpful as you go along, team, especially during your interviews, preparing for them, and so on. And also how we build overall, like I said, team, the discipline factor is something that we cannot ignore. That is something I really want you to continue to focus. So, team, we're getting back into the training session. I hope everything is good. I'm not seeing these questions because it's deviating me right now from my topic. So please keep your questions for later. Okay. Right now, it's just my screen and my audio. Now, what else do we have? Google Drive, yes. So see, a lot of things. Skill gap metrics. See, this is so critical, team. Everything that we're talking about is focused towards individually. How good are you? Are you capable to be able to handle, larger software testing roles and positions? That is what is getting constantly looked at and verified, team. Do you see that? Do you believe that that is what we are really emphasizing and looking forward for you to work on? And once you see that the whole focus has been towards um, the subject and the practical hands-on implementation, you'll understand, team, how all this will fit into it. Okay, so keep that in mind for your basic housekeeping. We also put a document for our topics, which is good because we are able to understand through this itself as to what all we are good at. So what we will cover live, certain things, videos, as we go advanced, how do we do it? Uh, Types of automation frameworks, we will do it in the foundation itself. So that should not be a challenge. So that's one thing I've seen. What else was there? Very quickly, team. FAQ link, yes. Application and a test. Selecting. So great participation. Thank you so much for the votes. Let me re-emphasize once again, team. Our purpose and intent is very simple. All right. There is an application and a test, okay, that we need to be able to ensure is defect free. And there is the entire QA process that is there. All right. Any application that I take in typical sense, we're going to spend a lot of time in understanding the application and writing the test scenarios behind it. Yes, and to test it. So instead of taking complex applications, let's take simple applications. So your learning is then totally revolved and focused on the subject. That is the reason, team. And we have picked up based on this glassdoor.com just to evaluate and see how we can do a few things. So all the members have kind of participated in giving a lot of them. There is an evening session also that's getting telecasted. Whatever we're doing in the morning, the same recording is happening in the evening with live Q&A team. So I'm using the same documents for that session too. What else do we have? Team details. This is a good one. Most of you are here. If you see that your name is not here, then please do fill in because I'm going to make teams and everything based on this, and it'll be easy for us. There are close to 99 people in the audience today, and there are about 50-60 people joining in the evening. So this should be longer. If you don't have this team details, then please fill it. I'm going to copy paste all of these into the chat right now, so you have quick access to them. All right, great. Now, what did we do in the training team? Let's take a look. Project one, manual testing. And one document that we were working on, team, and please remember, this is not a project plan for a novice, just getting to know things. All right. So why is there, requirement metrics not here, or, a technical design, and so on? No, we're not talking about everything. We're just saying what comes towards the project beginning, what comes towards the end. Same thing for software testing, what comes at the beginning and at the end. Our application that we talked about, Glassdoor, about the pain that it has, that we've kind of understood. We've put the details about how we go about understanding this application, team, right? It is very critical for us to break this application down into modules. Modules break down further in test cases and then test steps. So primarily what we're building is a very simple architecture diagram, team, of a hierarchy of how things are shaped. So you have your application under test, that is key. Now for this application under test, there will be bunch of modules, right? From module 1 to, let's say, module 20. Okay, let's say the 20 modules. Now each module, all right, each module again has multiple scenarios that it can cover. So there's test case 1 all the way to, let us say, test case. Maybe I can write up to 1,000 test cases for very complex applications. All right. Now, each test case again is broken down into steps, team. Like what? Steps like open the browser at the beginning, what we do as humans, click on the sign in link, enter username, enter password, verify that we've signed in, and let's say close browser. So each of these individual things become important, team. Now, how and when do we certify that the application is fully tested? How and when do we certify that the application is fully tested? So if I need to certify that my application is clear, I need to ensure that every module is working fine, that each test case in every module is fine, and every step in each test case is fine. So your basic building block, team. Is my voice cutting in and out by any chance in the audio or no? No, right? If there's anything, let me know, team. It is cutting in and out. How is it steady now? Audible and steady? Yes, great, thank you. Now, so for us as software test engineers, what is your most important priority, team? Which becomes highlight for us? Your most critical aspect that you'll need to focus, team, will definitely be revolving around your test steps. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the entire application as a wall, then the step is nothing but each step is like a brick in it. So unless my bricks are strong at a step level, I cannot ensure that I've tested it correct. So what does this test steps mean? Primarily to say that an application's functionality can be broken down into easily understandable and reproducible steps. And that is exactly what we wrote here. So the overall application at a high level, how we break it down into modules or pieces of functionalities that can be linked together, the test cases, how they belong to a module because we're running it against the test steps. When it comes to it, we're talking about how it belongs to test case. Now, the most important concept, team, let's take this into a different document. I'll just call this as notes, project notes. Okay, this is, at least, we'll maintain this well. It should be good referral for you. What did we do, team? We basically said, let us talk about the application Glassdoor. That is our application and a test. So we created a column for it. I said, let us create a module and call it as salaries. So in the module called salaries in the application, let's take a visual look at it as well. glassdoor.com, right? So we went in here and we tried to search for Selenium and see what kind of salaries were coming. What? Till yesterday it was fine. See, it could be, no, it should come up with data. QA is coming up. Selenium automation engineer. This is what we were searching for yesterday, correct team? Wow, that comes out to $100,000. So see, I mean, it changed, but then we were testing for something different yesterday. Now, that whole process of how we go and see that the functionality, the application is working correct. The end user, a job applicant or an employer, is going to use all of these things. So the basic difficulties are there. They are unable to perform their tasks well. The application can be slow. It doesn't let me do what I want to do. I don't like Glassdoor. So to avoid that I don't like feeling and to develop more likes and users and followers, a thorough testing is essential, team. There's no question about it. And the effort that is involved to test these applications is relentless because it is all about the number of permutations and combinations. How many of you know what this is, team? Permutations and combinations. I don't think anyone will ask you, but as you go along in testing, it is an important thing to note. What is PNC permutations and combinations? Is nothing but the number of unique way of doing things. Like for example, all right, um, so let's say we need to make pairs of 3 characters. All right, how many pairs can we make? Let's look at it. A, B, C. This concept is important, team, because you'll know that when it comes to test data and how we can estimate. What will be the answer, team? It is going to be AB, AC, and BC. So you have 3 options. The same if we have A, B, C, D, how many do we have? And so on. The more the number of such instances, you'll have more choices, team, to be able to um, arrive at. It is like a dice game, just like your dice game. What are the chances of certain thing happening? Everything has maybe equal chance. How we go about understanding the application, breaking it down in this structure, team. Please do not forget the structure. All right, everyone. This whole summary that I'm trying to focus is trying to derive at only one thing, team. The most critical aspect for us when we look at automation testing or testing in general, team, we're not even getting to automation, is a test step. If my test step is clear, then my application is good. All my steps have to be clear. If there are 10,000 steps in my overall application, they have to be executed correctly. Let us take a quick look at what is regression testing, team. What happens during application release cycles? Then we'll go back and update these. All right. Now this document is here. Let me open a new one. So team, how many of you know what is HPALM? What does it stand for? HP, I think now I believe it will be micro focus. I'm not sure if even ALM has gone to micro focus. It's basically application life cycle management. Okay, that is a word, correct? As an abbreviation to ALM. Now, what is this application life cycle management, team? Whenever you look at applications. Where is my fresh paint? Gone. Whenever we look at applications team, the first thing that happens is these applications are going to be changing. We start with sometimes the typical release of applications. How does it happen, team? We start with, let me take a different color, with, we call them as beta version. All right. The not so popular, only friendly launch for few users. Then comes the alpha. How do you write alpha in, I don't even remember how you write alpha, but all right. You have the alpha version. And then we talk about going more live with production, or final go live versions. All right. Once it comes to these out of the beta and alpha and so on, they're basically now outside for the outside world to use. Once it has come to the outside world, they typically start calling them with numbers team. And how does it start? It may start with version 0.0, nothing in it. All right. Whenever there is a small change, okay, then they will make it as version 0.1. Okay. Let us say there is this is a small change. If there's a big change, then it becomes 1.0. So this transformation of an application and how it changes through its lifetime is your ALM, application lifecycle management. Okay, the concept I'm saying. Now, how do we first create an application with version 1? So there is a set of code that will be written for it, and it will be deployed and hosted. Now you will go about writing test for this. Okay, all your tests and scripts you're going to be writing for this application and ready it. When 0.1 comes, your tests will change again. Why? Each version team, let's talk about the scope of an application with this box. And a lot of times I use boxes to represent a scope of an application team. Any of the words that I'm saying is jargonish, that you're not really heard of, please write it down, put it into our, um, we have a good document for that too, right? Where is that document? Let me put that. Terms. It was a nice name too. Referral notes, right? Yeah, referral notes. So anything that you have a question, hey, you know what, I don't know what this is. I don't know what Agile is, what is Scrum. Just put your questions here, team. We will start answering each of them. Okay. I'll put this link also for you in the chat. All right, great. Let's get back to this diagram now. Now, in this process of releasing, let us assume that this is version 1 team, just for an easy sake. Okay. Now, in this version 1, what happens before it goes to version 2? Okay. Certain portion of the functionality may be deleted. A new piece of functionality may have been added, and something else would have been updated here. Now, let us assume to test version 1, V1, it took us, let us say to develop, it took 300 person hours for that version 1. And to test, again, team, don't hold me on this testing hours because there's no standard metrics. Sometimes we have to test 5,000 hours for 300 development. Sometimes we just get 10 hours to test. Let us assume that there's 100 hours testing. Now, tell me, team, in the next phase for version, now this whole combined thing, okay, with these changes becomes our new version. And this becomes my version 2. Now to develop version 2, I would have taken what? Maybe 100 more hours. Now to test it, what do I have to do, team? Tell me. What is my priority of testing? I have to test the new updated functionality, sorry, new functionality, make sure that the functionality that has been omitted is not there, and also whatever has been changed I have to test, correct? But then we have to repeat this test for the entire scope of the application team, because what we did in this red boxes still could have been not testing what is getting affected in, let us put some brown color here. Let us say these portions here, some integrated link with an application, within the application, okay, will get affected and you've not tested. So now my testing will require me to test all the 100 hours that I've spent earlier, plus an additional hours because of this new. So it's about 150 hours. Why? I have to test the entire thing, team, and it's manual labor. It is not getting easier. So this whole process in which we release applications one at a time, all right, becomes your regression testing team, all right. So this is version 1, and let's say this is version 2, okay, and this is version 3. Now for each release we call them as releases. So from one version we're releasing it to the next version with all the changes, all right. This repetition of test, retesting, to ensure that everything is working correctly is called as regression testing team, all right. So that becomes your regression testing. Little long word but very important. Now tools like Selenium and HPUFT are popular because of this fact that it can do some amazing regression testing and it can achieve. But manual testing for regression is laborious. You have to test the entire application repeatedly. Your first cycle might be okay, team. Your second, third cycles will have a significant challenge that you have to handle. All your functional testing, it could be functional testing, it could be UI testing, it could be API testing or web services, performance, manual testing, doesn't matter what you're doing, team. Sorry, mobile testing and so on. Whatever we are doing, you have to still repeat it again. And that is the whole point. The most important thing that we can bring to the table as part of manual testing, there's only one key thing, team. Can anyone guess what is the most important thing that we can bring as a value add to a manual testing effort? What could it be, team? Team, everyone with me? So, team, the most important thing, like I was mentioning, oops, sorry, there's a ripper on the road, was for manual testing is documentation, team. That's it. Whatever you put and identify them, how you go about writing test cases in such a way, once you find a defect, you're able to reproduce it, go back to the developer and show that these are the steps. The developer has to agree that yes, it's a defect, go back, fix the code, and then you retest it, and then we release it. So this whole interaction that we face with developer and tester that happens is all built around the documentation team. If you do good documentation, follow good QA process, then you will find defects. So don't focus on defects, team. Okay. Yes, that is an eventuality. Let us hope that we will find a lot of defects, but developers are getting smarter. We have to be very, very well organized. All right. So this whole process is very critical, team. Now, what we are doing here in this sheet, where is it? Is we wrote two test cases, team. All that I wrote for is that application, the module, the test case, what it does, and the steps within it. Each of the steps have to be performed by us. So the most important thing of manual testing, like I said, is documentation. Why? Because There could be one engineer who is writing test cases. Remember this team. Very critical to understand how things can get laid out. Okay, in QA, what are the different roles? You're just writing test cases. Okay, you are executing test cases. You're reporting defects. Right? You're doing um, defects. Okay. Hmm. Takes time with the marks. So you're writing test cases, you're executing tests, you're reporting defects, you're building test data, and so on. So there are multiple roles that you could be doing in the software testing. You could be doing back-end testing, where you're looking at SQL queries and how the data is getting populated back and so on. You could be also doing front-end testing UI. But then in within these are the primary roles, either writing test cases, executing tests, reporting defects, or preparing the test environment, what we call as team. Okay, just saying test data is not correct. Preparing the whole test environment. This is your focus point. Now, in here, the documentation becomes critical because whatever I have written, I may be writing the test case. KK is writing, but maybe someone in the team is executing it. So what I write should be correct. Let's look at the relevance. Open Chrome, go to AUT. Now, how do we go to the application and test? So open Chrome. Okay, I've opened Chrome. To go to the application and test, do I require something, team? Do we require anything to go to the application and test? Yes or no? We require to provide the test data. Yes, team? Unless you provide the test data, how will we go there? So I'm going to insert 3 left. I'm just saying 3. I don't know how many things we'll need. I need definitely test data. Okay. Test. Why do I need 3 columns, team? I'll just take 2 columns for now. Helps me to write down what is it that I want to do. Let us say that we go into glassdoor.com/salaries. Okay. We start directly at this URL. And then I know that clicking on the salaries, how do we do it? So we go to glassdoor.com. Okay, let's do that. This is the URL. Oopsie, 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 oopsie. Index.html. And once we've gone here, we click. Okay, see, why did the layout change, team? Can someone tell me? Why is the web page looking different? Why is the web page looking different? Then we click on salaries. Why can't I see salaries? Like I said earlier, let me maximize. Even now I can't. Why does it look different from yesterday? The front page, where is that? Okay, so I have to go and click on salaries maybe then. Let's try private browser, team. Okay, now it's coming. See, as I kept doing a few things, it has started to recognize me just by using cookies and almost created an account. I don't think I signed in, right? My profile. I did? No, it's just trying to trick me into becoming a member. When I go into a incognito window, I'm able to. Now, why did we see this application changing? The main word that you need to is called responsive apps, team. And I've not seen a single one of you in answering this. You said HTML mode, browser, minimized. So that term is very critical in today's web development world. Okay, responsive. We have to look at how this application, what is responsive basically mean, team? How does this application look when we look at it on a smartphone, for example, okay, or an iPad? How will it look? How will it look if I open it in a browser? The way the elements and the layout changes in the entire application, depending on the size of the display, is basically called responsiveness team. Okay, app responsiveness. Okay, so when we do mobile app development, or when we do applications that are hybrid for both web and mobile, we keep this in mind. Okay, so when you're testing, note this, know what is there. No shortcuts team. Shortcuts are very important. Like one of the most important thing is zoom. Let's say you're doing control plus like this and you want to undo it, so control 0, control minus, control plus, things like that. Keep learning a lot of shortcuts around these now. Now, going back to our test here, click salaries, type QA engineer. See, we're typing something. Don't you think that is data again? I may type something else later. So let's put this QA engineer here. All right. And change location to LA. So I'm saying this is LA. That's the location. Click on search. Click get the salary details. So this will come as an output. Okay. Now we expected something. We will see what is the actual. QA engineer. This is what we searched for. Is that yesterday? I didn't think. Oh, okay, okay. So that's why it was not. So we did QA engineer, and I did New York, US, and say search. Go to salaries, please, and I get this value. So this is what I'm saying that I'm expecting. So result actual, result expected. Now when I get the salary details, this is what I'm expecting, but my actual may be different. And that is where you say if there is a defect and you report it. Okay. Error is what we're saying. Is it pass or a fail? Every step has to pass for that specific test case to pass, team. Remember that. Now, the primary difference that is changing between these two, I'm going to right click and paste special using values only, so the background color won't come. New engineer, New York, New York. Okay. Now, if I take the same salary, all right, and I put it here, I may not get that value, the same value out of it. As a manual tester, all that you'll have to do and spend time doing is writing test case phenomenally, thousands and thousands of them through your career team. Now, is this a good test case? Not necessarily. It is not even well documented. It may be easy enough for someone, but maybe it doesn't have all the details. For example, I didn't say open Chrome in incognito mode. I didn't mention that depth of detail. Every detail becomes critical when you're working in a larger team. But when you're working on it, your individual test case. Now, these are my test cases, team. So I'll just call them as test cases and I put them here. Now, I know that there are modules that could be there, right? So I will create a different sheet called modules and put them out here. So in modules sheet right now, let's talk about module and then a description for it. So we know what modules are there in an application. We also know there's an application. Sometimes what happens, team, there are different links to your application. So let's say this is our application under test. It is glass door. Okay. Then you have your production URL. Oops. Production URL is whatever we're doing here. Or you can call it public URL also, team, is here. And then you can have, dev server, let's say QA server, environment. Try and keep things organized about your application into documents. As much as you can, team, use spreadsheets rather than long, hefty test plan and Word documentations, It just tends to become endless. Okay. What is incognito mode? Now, what happens when you open a browser? Even if I open a new browser, let us say, and I just go to any website that I'm used to going, let us linkedin.com, it recognizes that I am Karthik and I'm logging in, correct? Now, if I do the same, if I want to see how a application looks if a new first time user goes, I click on these three dots on your Chrome and select something called as incognito window. That opens up a private browser that does not let you use cookies and so on. So it does not automatically log you in. So if I go to linkedin.com now, I will see it like a regular user would see. This is how LinkedIn will look. So for us, when we test applications, we may be signed in sometimes. So we use private browsers to do this. When WebDriver we come to, you'll notice automatically that it launches a private browser to do that. Okay. Now, okay, we here. Now, what the main purpose? So the first one is salaries. Maybe we have the other ones that will keep coming. What are the other ones that we have? Jobs, interviews, company. So these become jobs, interview, company reviews. Then we have user registration. We also have employer, see, employer. And then what do we have? Post jobs free. Now, what else is there? Main modules I'm just looking at. General, others. Okay. The whole application now is primarily divided into these modules team. For each of these modules, we will have to go about building a series of test cases. So now we started to write a test case for salaries, just one test case. It is always easy if you have a shorter name or abbreviation to a test scenario or a module or an application team. You can easily identify. When we go back and look at a diagram team once, remember I was telling you that the test steps are the most important blocks. But unless you look at them together as a bunch, they're useless. So these steps have to be executed exactly in the same order in that fashion. And that is why the crux is the test case as a unit pass or not. The whole test case team becomes one unit, remember. Okay. Anything that you're doing is on a test case. So the entire test case has to pass. End of the day, I will talk about, okay, how many test cases have I written for my application? That's my major question team. In this case, you will notice that it is too much to read English. So what we do is give some kind of an abbreviation. Oops. Test case ID. Let us call it as an identification. Something very easy to remember. It could be as simple as TC001, or it could be more relevant. Let us say we're working Glassdoor, right? So I'll say GD underscore module is salaries underscore TC001. Okay. Oh, sorry, 2. This way, we are maintaining a level of documentation that can get easily transitioned into a global team. So if you don't maintain this, one second, let me paste these values, and this is 1, sorry. It is very tough team. So when you go back and look at your traceability metrics and all these issues will become a challenge for you at that time. Now, we have named a test case with a unique identification. That's a good achievement. I could do the same with modules, give them a unique identification, but I'm not getting to that level. Now, these are just 2 test cases, team. I plan to write a bunch of test cases and have your assistance in writing this right now. Now, for us to do that, I would want my test steps and test cases to be separated. How? Let me duplicate this sheet. Let me call this as test steps. Now for test cases, all I want to do is actually just write one test case per row. See, it's like almost expanding, go from one to the other. The same pattern of layout that we're seeing, application to modules, to test cases, to test steps, I'm trying to arrive at the same kind of a thing here, out here team. So I have application. The application has various modules. Each module has multiple test cases, and I don't need test steps here. Maybe just a result is enough. Come on, just a result, so it should be sufficient. Now this is my test case ID, this is my name. Now comes my test steps. I'm saying that these are steps team, each of them are steps. Okay, now for this test case, sometimes this text again may not be very unique, so you insert one more and call it as a test step ID. Okay, you could go as simple as 1, 2, 3 and name them numerically team. I'm just going to use a formula. So this equals, so how do you write formulas team? I'm just going to show you, speak out what I'm doing, not necessarily teaching, but if you practice, you'll get it. First, you hit the equal to sign. So that is the start of saying that I'm writing a formula with an Eclipse, Excel or your Google Drive. Then you take the field that you want and say, I want to add +1 to it. So if I have 3 here, it will become 4. If I have 5 here, it will become 6 and so on. So I copy the same thing here and it will basically add 1 to the above number always. Now I'll take the same one and put it here. Paste special formula only. Oops, I did the wrong one. Okay, copy, paste special formula only. So it gets. So these are my steps for it team. This way of identifying becomes very critical. Why? I can say tomorrow that in Glassdoor, in salaries, or look at JD Sal TC002, step number 5, there is a problem there. And it is easy to point to a team. So getting to these details is critical. You will not see any software testing project which will not do this minimal maintenance. It is the minimal possible maintenance that they will do, unless it is just random testing. Okay, now I have got it nicely organized. See, if I write more test cases, I will put them here, and if I write a few more steps, I'm going to put them here. Now team, can I ask you all to take a few minutes and write steps, please? How do we write some more steps here into this sheet or a similar sheet? And I also want to see if we can cover a little bit of Selenium IDE today. Can we do this too, please? I'm going to give you the link to this sheet. Please don't spoil it, everyone. I'm really requesting you. So if you have a test case, add it here. Why don't you do me a favor, team? I'm going to share this, but when you get it right, can you make a copy of it at the time? Can edit, I'm going to say. So team, here's my request. Please do not change anything in this sheet. Copy it into a new sheet, do it at your end and show it to me, please. So all your activities, do not do anything in here. I'm telling you once again, please copy the sheet into your side and then you can do a little bit of activity there. Okay, please don't change. No change here. All right, so I've given you that sheet team. It should be accessible for all of you, and I'm seeing you all logging. I want you to do me a favor now. This is going to be a first assignment team, and I'll clearly mark it also. I want you all to write unique test cases. So don't write it in the same sheet. You will do it at your end and you will put it into the folder and show it to me. Okay. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to do that. Where was I with the document? Day 2, I'm not writing too much, but then assignment. Yeah. Day 2. Let's talk about the assignment. Very simple team. 1, copy. Let me take this here. That's fine. Copy this sheet into a new sheet on your end. Okay, that's the first step. The second step is add new test cases with clear steps. Be innovative. Write at least 2 test cases with 6, okay, let's say about 10 steps each. Okay, give emphasis to documentation standards, and we're all working on glassdoor.com, so that's the one you're going to be doing it. So I'm going to put that there. Okay, okay, that's fine. Why is this all bold? I don't need bold too much. Let me erase this. So team, this is going to be assignment. Now I want you to please put your assignments in your individual folder. Once done, I would like to see it at your end. Will make you the presenter. All right. So team, the art of writing some beautiful test cases is not there here. See, already people are messing it up. Come on, guys. This is crazy. Don't you know that you're making an error? How do you do such things, team? How do you make such blunders? How do you think you'll survive in the IT industry making such blunders? Why are you making copies here? Don't you know how to make a duplicate of a sheet? That is ridiculous, team. Absolutely ridiculous. I've been telling you the same thing, and you're again messing up the same sheet. What is this? Again, unlimited. Hold on, I'll show you. If you don't know how to, then please listen to it and look at it, team. This is ridiculous, team. I am expecting you not to do it. Go to your file on Google Drive and click on make a copy. Call this maybe, AUT manual testing. Okay, something like this. It'll create a new sheet. You make changes in your sheet and then you show me that. Is that clear? Do not touch the sheet, team. Now you know how to make a duplicate of this. Even if you spend 25-30 hours during your free time wasting on HTML and basics of this is appreciable in the IT industry, team. Believe me, we will sound and look like absolute fools going there and doing the small, oh, I don't know this, I don't know this. Do not waste your time. Sit down, open up Excel, keep practicing Google Sheet. Keep making mistakes. Otherwise, there's no road ahead, team, for you. Trust me, if you cannot do these very, very neatly, people have no patience, not in this industry. Okay. Now, team, I'm going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to pause the recording. I want you to finish this assignment and show me, please. I'm going to guide you. How to write beautiful test cases, amazing ones I've not come to yet. Very basic test cases. Our test cases, when written, have to be very, very standard. We will have to now look at the disadvantages of manual testing and automation, and then go into Selenium IDE team. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm pretty straightforward with my feedback and even more straightforward in the projects team, because there's no way. How can you make mistakes? How can you be a tester who makes mistakes? Tell me. Such large, vivid mistakes? No, not allowed. Okay. Instructions again, very clear. File, make a copy, give it a name, save it in your folder. Okay. And then I will take a look at it. I'll guide you, team, from there. I hope no one is putting anything here. All right, team, I'm going to pause the recording for a few minutes. So please fill in a few test cases and do it. Can it be on different modules? Sure, that's a good question. I like that. It can be on different modules. Yes. Where was the assignment is writing? Should close this. Can be on different modules. So team, I'm assuming this is going to take you at least 10 minutes. Okay. So time limit is about 15 minutes, but I'll get started in between. Post which I want to talk about manual versus automation. Unless you write manual test cases, you will not go the effort, team. So everyone must write. Everyone must write this, and hopefully we'll put the links. I'll see at least a few of them. Manual versus automation. Then we look at Selenium IDE, getting started. And then we'll talk about ERAT, my coining of thumb rule of automation reusability. Accuracy. Okay, so these things are topics that we have to get towards, if not today, a little bit tomorrow also. All right, everyone working on this assignment, this is what we're focusing on. Let me see if I can move this thing a little to the left. Indent. Come on. I do. All right. So team, take 15 minutes and please do finish this. It's all about assignments, team. The more you do, the more you practice, the more I can see how you're doing. That's how I know it. All right. I'm going to pause the recording and I'll be on mute. So it's now 9:52 a.m. Let's connect at 10. Reconnect live at 10:05 a.m. Okay. Now for evening batch, for those of you who are watching the videos, it is almost the same thing, team. You have to do the exercises. When we do the Q&As, you can show me the output. All right. So, but for you, the video won't pause. So I will request ITL and team at that time to maybe pause this video before the assignment. All right. I'm assuming all of you are able to work on it. Again, again, again. You know what? I'm going to see who's making these changes. Very sad. Stop messing this sheet, everyone. I should make it, no one should edit it. Off. Updated. Wow. Can view. I'm making it view only, team, for you guys. See, modules is moved, test case is moved. Very surprising, right? It's not because we're working on the same document as a crowd, just that we're not focusing on it. No, you cannot edit, team. You just have to copy it. If you cannot edit, are you able to copy it, team, without editing? Access? Despite all instructions. I'm going to pause the recording. Let's connect in a few minutes. I think most of you are able to do it. That's great, team. Where is it? Okay, here. I'm going on mute, team, and pause. Back to the live session. We've talked about the assignment one. Over 100 in the live audience right now. So most of you have filled in. I've got a lot of responses. I'm going to take a few, team. All right. Let me start with Rajni. She's shared one sheet. I'm going to put it up here. Now, let's go back to this. Let's put it here. I need permission to view. Do I need permission to view this? No. Just, okay, team, just give me permission to view them, please. You have to set it permissions so that I can view. Anyone can view with a link. See, what I do is I go to that file, right click, and I can say share, and then this one change it to can edit or can view, and then copy link and share that. Okay, that's how I can see your files. Let me go to Syed. Let me see. No, this is not the link, Syed, for sure. See, that's what I'm telling you. This link is something to do with your Google Drive. It will show me my Google Drive. How can that be your link to the sheet? Give me the link to the sheet, team, that I can view. Same thing, Sirisha. Sorry. What? Everyone has denied access. No one's got it free opened. Okay, there you go. See, I got it from Ejiro. This is yours. Should I unmute you so you can speak about it for a minute? Do you want to? Raise your hand, team, if you also want to speak about your tests that you've written. So I'm going to be, see, Ejiro, in yours, couple of changes. This is nice. See, I liked that you put your initials in it. That is good. I will change it to only saying AUT, manual testing effort. Also you can remove. You didn't change anything in the application unit test. That's good. Why did your modules move to that place? It should be here, right? So modules, AUT, modules, and then test cases, please. Let's look at test cases now. Excellent. I like the fact that you wrote it in the same standard, though it is the same module. You pretty much copy pasted. It is a quick way of creating, and I like it, team. It's nothing wrong in this TC003 004. Different colors could have been fine, but lack of time must be what you have done. You basically changed the cities. Let's look at the steps. Nice. Now there is one problem in here that you did. See, Chicago, London, good. But here, isn't this supposed to be TC003? All this till here, and R&D supposed to be TC004, right? So make those changes, please. And that is where, so what typically happens in real world, team, you're spending most of your manual testing activities around these four quadrants. This is primary focus, team. You're either writing your tests or you're preparing your tests, you're executing them, you're reporting them. Somewhere around these. A lot of effort goes into writing the tests, team. So we spend and waste plenty of time into it. And so is preparing so that, application is ready, test data is there, environment is set up, all the tests are rightly written, all that. Then actually executing it manually. What do I mean by executing? Now I follow the steps that Ejiro had written and try and do it exactly the same way and hope the results come. So what is the expected? For example, I put expected. One could be correct, one could be incorrect. but what is it that you put a 0 here? So that is something you have to test. That is what maybe you're testing to see if that data is correct that we have. All right, but good one. Liked it. Great job for the first attempt. Okay, so couple of feedback points that I gave, please do implement them. All right, I'm going back to Rajni again. So team, you're understanding what we're trying to get to, the art of writing some great tests, what is important from a manual testing effort, and then the other. So even here, I see the same. The sheets are not aligned correctly, Rajni. That's fine otherwise. Let's look at your modules. We have the same modules, and then the test cases. You've added one test case. And see, nice. I like it. Again, how much does this? How much salary does a QA analyst get in Washington DC? Then we look at the test steps. In here, you added this. You have to fill, team. Try and avoid giving any empty cells. Even here, for example, you have it. Put a hyphen if you can. It makes things easy. As we go along, you will see we will get more and more disciplined and organized in this. Good job, Rajni. I like it. What you're doing. See, get salary details. This is also nice. See, result expected. Like you put it here. Okay, I can't edit it. It's view only. It's nice that you put it in test data. That is improvisation. See, team, I give you something, you think creatively and try and take it to the next version. That is a constant endeavor for every IT professional. Remember that. Keep trying to improve on things. Very good. Great job. Very happy about it. Let's see, Sabita, I'm taking yours. I'll take 2 or 3 more. And then there are a few of you, maybe you want to speak about it as well. So I will give you the mic. For all, I think this is what happened because by the time you copy it, someone must have changed. So the source would have got impacted, team. Okay, so Sabita, this is yours, I believe. And I see you added a new module. Great. And let's look at test cases. One more recommendation, team. Never give empty lines in your spreadsheets, Excel, or in Google. Okay, just keep them continuously flowing. Why? Because we will filter sometime tomorrow and then we will do sorting. So that time it will become very convenient and easy. Fair enough, but otherwise good. Let us see these test cases. So GD underscore interview underscore TC001. Excellent. Excellent. Great work. Why? We maintain the same. We use the abbreviation for this module. And then we again renaming, restarting the test cases count from 1. Why? Because for each module, I may have 100 test cases, let us say. So those test cases were rightly named. In fact, it I like numbers at this time, like TC001, TC002, and so on. Instead of writing GD underscore int underscore Dallas or something like that, write them as test cases, team. Okay, I'm delete this row 4, which is not needed. GD UI links. This is also nice. You could maintain the same and say UIL, but UI links is not a big word. It is very clear. So if you write interviews, it may be longer, but UI links is fine. So it's not bad mentioning it. Underscore TC001, please. The reason we'll write TC001 because we'll have TD001, we'll have TS001, we'll have TR. There's so many things. So we know it's a test case. If I take this individually as a data and I put it anywhere I want, okay, like this. As soon as I look at it and know, oh, okay, this is a test case from this application, this is the module. Fair enough? You're understanding how critical it is to keep your documentation intact correctly. Let's look at the test steps here. Nice. Again, same. Do not leave empty rows. Okay, you can delete them. You've copied those main things and you put, and see, this is a problem. This will be all test case 1 only, all the way. Only step numbers will change. For that test case, I have 7 steps. Look here, for TC002, I have 7 steps. Correct? Fair enough? Now look here. This is the same thing. So it is just a matter of our understanding. So if it is test case 1, for test case 1, I have all these steps. So replace this, please. And team, these are the ones you're gonna work on. Feedback is given to one, but you can take it and implement it all across and put these in your folders. Okay. So then we can keep seeing how you're building things. Great job. Thank you. I've looked at yours. I'm taking a couple more team because this is nice work. It is giving us different perspectives. And if I didn't give the template, then I'm sure we'd have got a lot more. So clean up your sheets, please. Apurva, I think this is yours. Let me see. Um, yes, Apurva, this is yours. Modules, I think is the same. Test cases, you've added a new one under jobs called TC001. Find a QA job in North Carolina, I believe. Nice, nice. Okay, just this row seems to have gone bigger in view. Other than that, nothing. See test case 3. The difference that you did here, there's a defect also. See, this is GD job TC001. Out here, it must be GD job TC001. It cannot be GD sal TC003. So we're giving a wrong reference altogether. Make sure that the test cases names here match correctly with what you're putting out here. Okay. Same way, make sure that the module names that you're putting here are matching with the module names that you're putting here. There is a reason for it, team. That will help us to phenomenally organize team things. Okay, Bhavna, I'm taking yours next. Bhavna Bansal. Okay, I don't think I have permission for that. Oh wow, there's so much participation, team. Really appreciate it. This is nice. Though I'm taking time, there is so much feedback I'm giving. Please use it commonly. I like Kanti Gurepati, that's yours. I like the way you named it, KG. Remove this copy of an effort also. Clean up, please. Organize them, sheets, order, and so on. No changes in modules. Test cases, you've added again jobs TC001. QA engineers jobs in Seattle, Washington, US. Nice. I like the way you've written it. Very neat. But then jobs is here. So that's fine. That's good. GD jobs TC001. All the steps up to here. You put them, click on the green search. I think you don't have. So if you have a step, fill it. If you don't have a step, you can delete this. Okay. It doesn't have to be 7 steps, team. It can be 1 step. It can be 700 steps in a test case. Does not matter. It is how we write it. All right, great. So now see, team, was there effort involved in writing? You did copy paste, but now if you keep doing it, if you look at it, writing tests manually is a lot of effort. Why? We have to look at documentation or application test and think of all the possible P and C. Now came up the same thing, permutations and combinations, and think of all the permutations and combinations of user stories. Now, what are user stories, team? This is also something you have to put into your referral notes. What are user stories? In short, if I can tell you as a layman, every application that we built or is being built has end users, correct? Now, who is the user? Who are the users for Glassdoor? Professionals who are seeking for a career change or a job and so on, or corporates who are looking to hire individuals, right? Those are the users. Now, how does a 10-year experienced Java developer use this application? That is one user story. How does a HR manager for a Fortune 1000 company use this application? That is another user story. So there are multiple user stories that come, team. These user stories have to be represented. So primarily, have we covered significant portion of all possible user stories? Okay. Now, test cases, a lot of effort. Look at documentation. So this is steps. test cases are returned based on these user stories. Now, I'll give you a very simple user story team. Okay. Now, sometimes user stories, okay, user stories, test case scenarios, and test cases are used interchangeably. I hope that's correct spelling. Okay, looks like wow. What do I mean, team? It's like this. See, the term itself is like that. A user story could be something which is bigger story. A test case could be smaller, one thing. So let us say, for a small business, see, exactly like I said, small business, medium business, enterprise. Fortune 1000 could be an enterprise, a large organization. So if I'm an enterprise user, I go click on enterprise, I look at what products are there. Let us say employer branding, I click on it and I do this. Now within this user story, there could be more scenarios, more test cases. So all those possible things, how well we document, whatever you call it, does not really matter. How do you write these user stories? And you can also call them as use cases sometimes. Okay. A properly defined find user story with all role players mentioned becomes a use case. One use case. I will show you some templates about your team, but let's not confuse and go. Primarily, what is the logic? How does the user go about navigating? What is it that he or she does? What happens to the application at that time? That behavior to understand is critical for your team. Now, preparing test is very simple. Once I have, let us say, I'm going to take one more from the audience. Toril Doshi, let me try yours. I've not unmuted anyone. Some of you have your hands raised too. Maybe you wanted to show me at your end. LCT. So there's a test modules. Anything new? No. Test cases, Glassdoor, company reviews, GDCR, TC003, sort company reviews for Accenture Mumbai. Nice. I like the way the words are written in the test case. Okay. TC003, you don't have to write because it's a new module. You can start with TC001 again. So that way I know TC001 to TC57 I have for module 1. TC89 is the last test case. So I know how many test cases are there. It's easy for us to count. It's in an XLS format, so it's just showing me a little differently, but otherwise that's fine. Let's look at this test case. You maintain the same test case ID, that is good. So if you change it there, change it back here as well. Sort company reviews of Accenture description. Open Chrome, click on company reviews, type company name Accenture. So this company name Accenture, you can maybe move it into test data. Type location Mumbai. Maybe even this you can move it into test data. Anything that you think is relevant that we can move it as a data that is required to test, let us put it here. All right. Click on search, scroll down and click on see all reviews and so on. Very good. Now, team, your test data preparation sometimes is understated, okay, gets very critical and complex for larger projects. So, how do we prepare tests? Like when you go to JUnit and TestNG, you will see annotations like at before, at test, at after, or at before test, at after test. What should I do before every test? What should I do after every test? Very simple, team. Think of it like this, okay? Let's think of it as a chemistry lab, all right? Now, when you start an experiment, you basically organize your I'm not a chemistry expert. I'm more of a math guy myself, but we've all been there. I've seen chemistry labs in some way or the other. Organize your workbench, right? you organize your ingredients, or wrong word, chemicals, right, slash ingredients, whatever you're putting. All right, then start test, then you take note, take a report of it, and then you clean up so that it is nothing is messy around it. That is typically a test team. Any test that we talk about, it started with, let's say, medical tests. I think tests, I don't know where they started, but we're trying to test for some kind of a deviation, correct? And so just assume that even if you go for a flu test, so before you go, the doctor may recommend that you put your mask and so on. All those preparations that we need to do before tests come up here, team. And you will spend time depending on how big the project is. Execution is critical, team. This is again very time consuming. Okay. Why? Now imagine this, team. You've returned these 3 test case, correct? I have to put this test case on one side, get this application on one side, literally go and perform all the steps. How? Open Chrome, go to Glassdoor, go to this, and then keep updating here. Result, actual, error, no. Oh, I can't write it here. So I'll say no, 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 no error. If there's an error, I'll say, or I'll say pass, pass, pass as a result. And at the end, if there's anything failing, I'll put a fail. But there is a significant amount of effort involved, team. That is very time consuming. There is another challenge, team. We will make human errors. All right. What do I mean by human errors? For example, in this test data, I missed a comma or I missed a number. I missed a step while doing it. I'm not a machine, right? We make that human errors. That is why we still have issues on products which we develop, because there are challenges that keep getting creeped up. Yes. Now, when we have such kind of execution to be done and human is doing, it is prone to error, prone to human errors. You tends to get laborious and boring, team. Believe me, there's no way easier for me to tell you this. It is absolutely boring. It will be great for the first few releases. 1 2 releases, it's like honeymoon period. You'll really enjoy it. As you keep going, just imagine you have to go to Facebook and check if logo is there, if the about us is there at the bottom, privacy is there each and every time. It is so boring, team. And we have not even written test cases, so much yet. These are the typical challenges that you will see in executing. And in reporting, basically, it is manually retest and log defects, show case defect reproduction steps so that the end user can reproduce. This is how you're going to spend time manually, team. Now, you look at any process when we want to do something manually versus doing something via automation. What is the main reason we go into that, team? We need specific reason to do anything, right? Like a solution we get because there's a problem, there is a pain. What is driving us to go from manual to automation? Number one, manual is slow, takes too much of human time. Humans then take too much of system, network, infrastructure, and admin time and resources. This is an ongoing cycle. Manual is slow, takes too much of human time. If it is repetitive, can we be smart about getting more efficient. What does it mean? Faster than manual, fewer resources, and it's efficient because it is cost effective too. All right. Reusability. Why? Lot of effort to initially automate. Okay, there is a significant effort team to initially get to automate an application. If you have the best of the tools, the best of the frameworks, or you have to start from scratch, there is a lot of effort involved. If there is reusability, then we can build once and reuse multiple times. Multiple times with minimal changes. Okay, that would be excellent. And whenever you're talking about automation, if you have a question in your mind, close your eyes and think of a car manufacturing plant or any production plant which is manufacturing, let us say, even biscuits or crackers or anything. It is all about how efficient are they working. See how they run shifts one after the other because the machinery is expensive. What is the machinery doing? It is automating the process. It is making it stronger and faster. Of course, it has to be accurate. What happens is manual labor, though slow, can ensure high quality. You can sit down and make sure. Okay, we need to improve on that through automation. You have to get better and better at quality. You know, the Six Sigma kind of operations. What is Six Sigma team? What is the definition of Six Sigma team? Okay, six. I don't even have that key. What is Six Sigma? Anyone? No? I am not on mute, Saroj. I'm not on mute. I've been speaking for the last half an hour now. Six Sigma is basically a case where no more than 3.4, I think 3.14 defects occur in a million possible opportunities. That is a measurement. So let us say we're manufacturing, okay, a small pencil, just a pencil. It's got 10 parts into it, right? From the eraser to the tip and all that, okay? So the 10 parts, so the 10 possible ways to fail in it, for the pencil to fail. So if I build 100,000 pencils and only under just say four are failing, I'm following Six Sigma standards. So Six Sigma standards have been set for more manufacturing. It started there. It kind of creeped into IT, I believe first through Motorola GM, and then GE took it a long way. Team. And then what GE did, I'm not sure if you know the history of Indian IT industry. General Electric was the first, one of the first largest customers which started hiring GDCs, Global Development Centers, and they were the pioneers in having to build large organizations like Infosys, TCS, Wipro, Satyam. All these companies have really got to become a GDC, and then they went on to acquire. So they gave a lot of discipline. So Six Sigma was one thing they kept doing. I worked with GE accounts for almost 7-8 years. So, and I'm a Six Sigma professional myself. So I know how it is. It is typically for manufacturing. It is kind of, um, uh, how do you say, manufacturing, but made its way to core IT. Okay, so a lot of IT you will see in Six Sigma. Just the fact that these are all talking about productivity improvements, team. It is always about productivity, okay, improvements. And how can we then do the same steps that we were doing manually using a tool now? That is going to be something we will focus. Now that we were able to understand manually, we will to put some, test some, and so on. I don't want to go through the entire process of taking, typing, testing, because I'm assuming it will work, team. This application is live, and we're not here to find defects. We are here to understand the whole process of software testing. And then let us talk about Selenium IDE, team, tomorrow. All right, in the next session, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Halloween, so it's a break day for you. And I'll show you how you can install it on your Chrome browser or Firefox. Once you go through this and understand this, Catalan Studio will also become pretty easy. You'll know that, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. Once you know one tool, the other becomes easy, and you can put both onto your profile then, team. All right. Cool. Any questions, please, before we kind of end up today's session, and we'll connect again tomorrow. Huh. Sorry, I said cool at the end. Unless you have passion and you really like your subject, it is tough teaching like this, team. I've been enjoying automation testing for the last 10 years. So that's why I can keep continuing to do. Otherwise, it is effort. Do we get these notes? Yes, all these notes, I'm going to put them together, team, in the same folder. I want to give you this folder, but you saw, right, when we gave you the access, uh, we unknowingly make mistakes which may affect others. How can I share my link? So Shri, right now, I'm requesting everyone to create your own folder. Create your folder, put your assignments in that. And I want to look at those assignments and we'll also share them. Sabita, very well said. You said 3.4 defects in a million. Yes, in a million opportunities, please. All right, great. I think that's it for now. I will see you back on Thursday then, team. So we have a break tomorrow. So you'll all see the recordings back on the website. So go to itlearn.com. We'll put it on any certified tester, or just go to our YouTube link, team. You'll find them all there. Thank you, everyone. Take care then. Bye now. We'll see you back in the next session. Thank you so much for joining in. Bye, everyone. Bye all.